Bonjour, Kinamagi and Ireland edition of CAS, and welcome to this production of the My Math Network. Today's video, Chapter 7, Lesson 8, Ordered Pairs. News under the essential question of how are patterns used to solve problems. And we'll begin by looking at the end of last session's homework. And that was lesson 7, hands-on map locations. You needed to follow the directions on here, and they used grids, very much like you will be using today. So we found out that Squid Exhibit was 2 units north of the giant octopus. Describing paths, you had some options there. I'm going to check your answers. Today's assignment is going to be similar, but we're going to be naming those points. All of the answers are going to come with looking like this, with a parentheses, a number, a comma, another number, and a parenthesis. Okay, so let's get into the content today. And this will be what does an ordered pair represent? It says, if you ever played Battleship, it represents a point. And they're going to be named with the X and the Y. And when we name them, we use a parenthesis. We start with the X. How far from the origin? And the origin is the 0, 0. Is something. So if I just randomly threw a dot right here, I figure out how many spots from the origin on the x-axis is it? Basic, niche, this way in Niwin. And then how far on the y-axis is it from the origin? So how far up or down? And I can cross over here and it's at 5. So that ordered pair 4, 5 represents this spot specifically. Yes, there are other quadrants of this graph. We call this a first quadrant graph, and that's what we'll be focused on. If you recall back to the math enrichment lesson, we had a second quadrant, a third, and a fourth over here. But we're today going to focus on the first quadrant. And if you did really well on the enrichment, this should be an easy lesson. If it was a struggle, this is a good chance to review. All right, so moving forward here. Locate, draw, and label each ordered pair. So how do I do this? Point A, so this is going to tell me how far over on the X. The second number is how far up or down on the Y. These are all positive, so it's going to be in the first quadrant. So point A is going to be 6 over. So I find the 6, put my pencil on the line, and then up 7, which is way up here. And I'll put my dot, and I'm going to label it A. And I look over, yes, it makes it to 7. G, 1 over, 4 up. So I go over 1, up 4. There's my G. J, 0 over, 1 up. So what do we do here? It stays on the origin. That tells me it's going to stay right on the axis, and it's going to be up 1 spot. So it's actually going to be right there. 0 over, 1 up. If it was 1 over and 0 up, it'd be right here. So let's go M, 5 over, 3 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 3, 1, 2, 3. There's my M. Q, 6 over and 0 up. And R, 2 over, 7 up. Sounds like a nice beverage right now. So each of these ordered pairs represented a specific point in my quadrant. This is all you actually have to do on these. So let's get into the bookwork. And it's going to be found on page 525. And there is some vocabulary. A coordinate plane is formed when two perpendicular number lines intersect. And that's your here's one number line, your vertical and your horizontal. We call the vertical on the y-axis, the horizontal, the x. And then you can see how it creates a grid if you kind of extend them out. And the point where the two axes intersect is the origin. And the origin's coordinates is 0, 0. All right, so looking at 525, remember you should be filling this in as we go so that you have a tool to look back on. An ordered pair is a pair of numbers that is used to name a point. The first number is the x coordinate and corresponds to a number on the x-axis. So when it has this 3 right here, it told me that it's Beijing, Nish, Nisway, or 3 over. The second number, the y coordinate, and corresponds to a number on the y-axis. So I start at the 3, and I'm going to go up 5. Beijing, Nish, Nisway, Niwan, Nanan. I'm at Amy's house. Woohoo! Hi, Amy. Hope you put on a nice pot of coffee. Sorry, it's an old joke. That's how we're going to name these points. So how do we go about and do this? And this is going to kind of follow along with what we were just talking about here. I start at the origin. The origin is always 0, 0. We move right along the x-axis until you are under Amy's house. And Amy's house is right here. It's a 3. So that coordinate is a 3. I'm going to write it here first because x always comes first. Then I move up to Amy's. Beijing, Nish, Nisway, Niwan, Nanan. It's at a 5. So that point is at 3, 5. Go ahead and write that in. And then we'll be turning on to page 526, an example niche. Give you about 20 seconds. Remember, if I'm ever moving too fast for you, you can always pause the video, write things in, and then go from there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. And you see the answers. Example niche, name the point for the ordered pair 2, 3. So I start at the x-axis, or at the origin, and that is, remember, 0, 0. So write that in. I move right along the x-axis until I reach 2, the x-coordinate. Then I move up until I reach 3, the y-coordinate. So write those in. And what point is there? D. That's what's there. That's what we'll name it. And that's, so point D is named in the ordered pair 2, 3. Go ahead and write those couple things in. And then you're going to practice a couple. We'll go ahead and clear the drawings. And that's point D. All right, locate and name the ordered point for point A. What's the x coordinate of the, so we look over and it's Beijing, Nish. And the y coordinate is only up 1. So that ordered pair is 2, 1. All right, I'd like you to practice a couple. Once I clear this, at the top of the next page. I want you to locate and name each ordered pair. Remember to write it in the format of a parenthesis, a digit, a comma, and a parenthesis, or digit and a parenthesis. Write them on here, and then we'll come back and check our answers. You may pause the video, complete it, unpause the video, and you're ready. You may pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. Point A was at 3 over and 4 up. That makes sense. Number 4 was R is at 5 over, 5 up. J is at 5 over and 4 up. And E was at 3 over and 0 up. And you couldn't see those other problems before. So that's where those are. All right. Now I want you to write the letter for each of these. So you're going to, for these 6, so you're going to go over 2 and up 2, and that's you go ahead and have that one as a freebie. All right, so go ahead and pause the video, fill out these 6, and we'll go from there. All right, welcome back. We saw that 2, 2 was L, and that's the one I gave you. 0 over and 3 up was H. 1 over and 5 up was G. 6 over and 7 up was M. 4 over and 8 up, and it's 1 above the 7 is 8, that's a P. And 7 over and 0 up was C. All right, let's check out the assignment. Let's get the homework page here for the assignment English. Sorry about that earlier. All right, so on number 1 through 3, you're going to write the coordinates, and those numbers have to look like this. And over here, you're going to locate the name on the point. What ordered pair gives a location of the storage barn? So you're how far over and how far up. What items are located at those 2 points? And you got a couple more problems after that. Remember that if you're in person, you can turn this in class on your next school day with the paper copy, or you may put your name on top of both sides, scan it in or take a picture of it and email or text it to me, or you may put in your answers using the Google form. Remember when writing these to include the parentheses, because that's what part of what makes it correct. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at mireland@psychchipschool.net. Hope you have a minogijigad minwa bamapi.